They started laughing before he even reached the sidewalk. Marcus felt it in his chest before he fully understood it, that sharp, humiliating sting that crawls up your neck and burns your ears. The grocery bags dug into his fingers as he stepped away from the small neighborhood store on Maple Street in Columbus, Ohio. Across the street, a group of women stood near a black SUV, their voices cutting through the warm afternoon air like glass. He didn't have to hear every word to understand the message. He saw it in their eyes, in the way they looked at him and then at each other. No woman would ever choose him. Have you ever felt that moment when the world decides who you are before you even get a chance to speak? When strangers look at your clothes, your job, your car, and decide your worth. If you were standing there with grocery bags in your hands and people laughing at your existence, what would you do? Marcus kept walking. At 29, he worked 2 jobs. Mornings at a hardware store in Westerville, evenings stocking shelves at a pharmacy. His faded gray t-shirt clung to his broad shoulders, not because he cared about style, but because it was the only clean one left. His sneakers were worn thin at the heel. He didn't look poor enough to beg for sympathy, but not polished enough to command respect. He was the kind of man people overlooked without guilt. The women near the SUV were dressed for a rooftop brunch downtown. One of them, Ashley, had dated Marcus in high school. Back then, she liked his quiet kindness, the way he walked her home and carried her backpack without being asked. But kindness didn't pay student loans or buy luxury apartments. She left for Chicago, came back with sharper cheekbones and sharper standards. Now she looked at him like he was a cautionary tale. Marcus didn't hate them. That was the strange part. He just felt tired. Tired of being the nice guy. Tired of being told he had potential. Tired of hearing that one day someone would appreciate him, as if appreciation was a distant lottery ticket. He lived in a small duplex with his mother, Teresa, who had arthritis so severe she could barely climb the stairs. His father had passed away when Marcus was 17, leaving behind medical bills and a mortgage. College had slipped out of reach. Responsibility hadn't. He learned to fix things. Faucets. Fences. Broken cabinets. Broken hearts, sometimes. But never his own. That afternoon, as he walked past the black SUV, the driver's side window slid down slowly. The women quieted. Even Marcus slowed, not out of curiosity, but because something about the silence felt heavy. Behind the wheel sat a woman he had never seen before. Her name was Victoria. She wasn't loud like the others. She wasn't pointing or laughing. She simply watched him with a calm, assessing gaze. Her blonde hair fell softly over her shoulders, and her dress, elegant but understated, shimmered faintly in the sunlight. There was wealth in her posture, in the quiet confidence that didn't need to announce itself. But there was something else too. Recognition. Not of his face, but of something deeper. Marcus lowered his eyes and kept walking. He was used to being observed like a specimen. Victoria, however, had come to Columbus for a reason. After building a tech logistics company in Dallas and selling it for more money than she ever imagined, she had decided to invest in smaller communities. She'd been reviewing local property projects all morning, riding through neighborhoods, evaluating potential. She had seen dozens of men in tailored suits that day. But none of them carried groceries like they were carrying the weight of the world. She stepped out of the SUV. The laughter behind her turned into whispers. Ashley looked confused, even slightly threatened. Victoria didn't match their energy. She didn't join their smirks. Instead, she walked across the street, heels clicking softly against the pavement. Marcus felt her shadow before he heard her voice. He braced himself for another subtle insult, another disguised compliment about hard work. But what she asked him instead was simple. Was he the one who repaired Mrs. Green's porch last winter? He blinked. He nodded. Victoria had been reviewing potential renovation contractors for a series of affordable housing units she planned to develop in the area. Mrs. Green, an elderly widow, had spoken highly of a young man who refused payment after rebuilding her porch steps during a snowstorm. Marcus had done it because he couldn't stand seeing her struggle. Not because anyone was watching. And now someone had. Over the next few weeks, Victoria hired him for small repairs on properties she was considering purchasing. Marcus didn't suddenly become confident or charming. He showed up early. He worked quietly. He double-checked everything. When he made a mistake, he fixed it without excuses. Victoria noticed. She noticed the way he never cut corners. The way he spoke gently to tenants. The way he listened more than he talked. She noticed the scars on his knuckles and the way he sent half his payments directly to his mother's medical account. She had met men with yachts and men with private jets. She had dated men who treated waiters like furniture. Marcus treated everyone like they mattered. One evening, after a long day of inspections, they sat on the unfinished porch of a renovated home as the Ohio sunset painted the sky in streaks of orange and violet. There were no photographers. No social media posts. No audience. Just two people breathing in the quiet. Marcus confessed, not dramatically, but honestly, that he had stopped believing anyone would ever choose him. Not truly. Not proudly. Victoria didn't laugh. She told him that wealth had taught her something painful. Money magnifies who you already are. If you are selfish, you become cruel. If you are insecure, you become controlling. If you are kind, you become generous. And she told him she had spent years surrounded by men who were impressive but not good. Marcus was good. When the rumors started spreading that the millionaire investor was spending a lot of time with that grocery store guy, the same women who once laughed began watching differently. Ashley avoided eye contact when Marcus walked past. The smirks were gone. But Marcus wasn't walking taller because of their silence. He was walking taller because someone had finally seen him. Victoria didn't save him. She didn't transform him into a different man. She simply valued what had always been there. She offered him a leadership role in managing her housing projects, trained him in budgeting and operations, encouraged him to take business courses at night. Not as charity. As partnership. He struggled. He doubted himself. He almost quit twice. But she never treated him like a project. She treated him like a future. 2 years later, Marcus stood in front of a row of newly built affordable homes, shaking hands with families receiving their keys. His mother, healthier now with better care, stood beside him, tears in her eyes. Across the street, a familiar black SUV was parked. Not as a symbol of wealth, but as a reminder of a moment. The moment when laughter could have defined him. The moment when humiliation could have hardened him. The moment when someone chose differently. If you had been in his place that day, carrying those grocery bags while the world laughed, would you have believed that your story wasn't finished? Would you have kept walking? Before this story ends, tell me in the comments, have you ever been underestimated by someone who later had to watch you rise? Because sometimes the person everyone overlooks is the one quietly building a foundation no one else can see. Marcus was never chosen because he became rich. He was chosen because he was worthy long before anyone noticed. And if this story truly touched your heart, gently reminding you that kindness and character still matter, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, not for the algorithm, but for every quiet soul still carrying their groceries, hoping someone sees them.